Live, oh one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here at my home, ready to answer some questions here. Today is Friday in January in New York, and I have some questions from you, I'm sure. Let's try to see what we can find out and find some reasonable answers here. Who's first?
Sorry, questions we already have.
Okay, well, I have three from the mailman here who delivered these the other day. Let's see what they sound like. I'll read them because my reading's pretty good today. The first question is, describe playing with Thelonious Monk and Specs Wright in Philadelphia. That's from Dean. Dean, that was in 1962, I think, and I got the job because Sam Jones, who was Monk's original bass player, was sick at the time, and he called me to see if I could fill in. Well, who doesn't want to fill in with Thelonious Monk? So I got the job, and we did a concert in New York. The next week, we moved to Philadelphia for a week at a place called the Showboat. We did 1 week there, 3 sets a night, and after each night, I came back to New York because I was a student at Manhattan working my master's, and we would leave New York again at about 6 o'clock, get to Philadelphia about 8:30, and start the sets, 3 sets. A great time was had by all, and I'm sorry they're both gone because I enjoyed playing with them. Okay? That's from Dean Torrey. Dean, thank you. I have time for one more, I think, okay? How about Tom Jobim, my friend who was the guy who brought in New York another sound of music, the Brazilian music. A fabulous piano player and a really great writer, as those of you know his library will agree with. When I first met him, of course, I spoke no Portuguese, and he spoke very good English, so I was very embarrassed again. And I asked him, I'm not sure what I should do with this music. I hear it on radio, and I have a recording, but I've never played it. I'm not sure what it takes to make it work. He said, well, the reason you're here is that I needn't tell you what to do. You know what's happening. So here we went, and we made some lovely music together. And my friend, we miss him terribly. Wow, that's 2 down so far. I'm ready for someone who's going to give me another chance to check my memory out. Okay. From Nigel. So I was just listening to Blues Farm on my turntable. You have a turntable? One of the 3 left, I think. But okay. My first record for CTI. Richard T. on piano, who left the concert early, as I like to call it. One of the things about that record that impressed me was the title that I picked up. It's called Blues Farm for me because it's dedicated to all the postmen who were unable to get a break playing music and ended up at the post office wearing the blue uniforms. So hence the title Blues Farm. Hubert Laws is a nice record, my first attempt at record a record under my name at Rudy Van Gelder's studio. Rudy, who was the dean of jazz recordings, who made the industry sound like Rudy Van Gelder's sound. Again, he's gone, and we all miss him. Emil, any concert in Cologne or Bonn, Germany planned? Well, tours being put in place mid-summer, which is when summer tours always take place, and I expect that I'll get a chance to say hello to you if you take a chance to say hello to me. Here's one more. Nigel said, all of your CTI releases are absolutely great. Well, I'm not going to say anything about that because I agree with that. Oh, yeah, here's one more from Isabella Hoffman. Isabella, how are you? How's your script coming? Isabella's a fine writer from Sao Paulo and visited New York to work on the information material, do some research on her book she was writing, film she wants to produce. Good luck. Let's see here. Well, this is a long question. From Mike. One of he remembers me from playing Jillies in Dayton, Ohio. That was in 1834. Jill, Mike, your memory is unfailing. As a matter of fact, that was near the Greyhound bus terminal. They still run those things there. Nice. Thank you for enjoying the music. I'm playing better, by the way. I've kind of started to know how to practice since then, and I found a few things to do that make music sound a little different. And get to the nightclub currently when I'm there. We'll see if you agree I've improved. Alex, Alex, where are you? You're in Miami. I miss you. One of my students from a year ago was a wonderful bass player. We had good times. We understood what's necessary to how to learn how to practice, how to play in tune, how to build bass lines. Alex, don't take so long to talk to me. And thank you for being such a wonderful, understanding student. Email, Corridor. My personal songbook is a great record. Well, I wasn't sure to do that because my ego's not big enough to say we're doing all of my tunes. But I practiced saying that, and it felt good to say, hi, we're doing all my tunes. Hi, Ron Jr. One of the things that impressed me about that record is the band had the music before I got there, and they really played it well. It's just amazing WDR radio band. Wonderful record, and thank you for appreciating my efforts to make the music sound good. Spiros, you're in school, and one of my Greek students who's a bass player comes to New York for lessons. He's taken a jazz course somewhere in Europe, and he corresponds occasionally. I'm glad to see your name on my screen here. Thanks, and great candy. Let's see here. Jeff, oh wow, Jeff Siegel, a drummer I played with my friend Ed Sumlin, who's gone again. Anyway, Siege, how are you? Thank you for keeping me up to touch with your information and your record, which is a nice record, by the way. I enjoyed it. Thanks for calling in to say hello and sending me your words. I'm reading it faster and faster. Carlos, what do you think of electric bass guitar and jazz? Well, the guys who play it so well, it's hard not to acknowledge their talent and their ability to make their instrument do other things. Steve Bailey visited the other night. We had a nice dinner. Victor Wooden, the late Victor Bailey, John Patitucci, Jocko, those guys really make the instrument have another life, and I appreciate their efforts and how they've decided to make the instrument do something other than what someone else did before them. Let's see, Denise, a lady, okay, from Canada. On soloing, what book do you recommend? Well, 2 books. Any Club Bandstand and A Good Bass Teacher, show you how to play the changes. Nigel, what was the most eye-opening music you experienced yet? I hope tomorrow night. When I go to work, it's always an experiment as to how the night's going to go, and I look for these special moments. We never know when it'll happen or whether we're playing over our heads or not, but I'm looking forward to trying another chance to find more right notes. I found 6 months ago, and I'm trying some more. Let's see. Pedro, wow. I have your big band record, and it's really some nice Argentinian music, I call it. Really a wonderful band, and thank you for saying hello. Hi, Shelley. Victor, how are you? I'm trying to get the hang of this guy. Michael Sanastasio, my friend who's a drummer from Europe. We went to school at City College. I taught him as a student for 3 years. A really wonderful young man and a really fabulous drummer. How are you? Of all your contemporaries on bass, what's some of your favorites? That's from Robert. Robert, I think anyone who plays that instrument without any help is my favorite. But I like a lot of guys. Kenny Davis, who I saw the other night. The guy was, I saw Buster Williams last night. Lyle Atkinson, Kristen McBride. I mean, there's so many guys who are, John Patitucci, who are making the bass have sounds. And I listen to them because I want to find out how they solve the problems that I see. And they have found some great solutions. Let's see. I received a comprehensive bass method. Yay! you have any inspiring suggestions on how to read and how to practice? Well, to read, you have to have someone help you out. And most elementary classes have a great chance, experience on how to do something very difficult like reading a sentence. It's not complicated, man. When you practice, you have to practice with some real honesty and understand that practice is where you learn how to make mistakes. And you try them out on the gig to see if they work. Like me every night. Maurice, have you ever played with Bill Evans? Yes, I've made 3 recordings with him. The last one was with Jim Hall, Zoot Sims, I think Philly Joe Jones and Bill Evans on Milestone, a wonderful record. Jim Hall played again, as he always did. He just killed me. Thank you for the question. And yes, I played with Bill. He was my favorite pianist of all time. Mr. Doré from Canada, who came for a lesson to my house 3 months ago from Canada. How are you? I'm glad you got home safely, and read those comments I wrote for your lesson every day. I think I have time for 3 more questions. Let me read a little faster here. Seppi, may I ask you the correct way to approach the play a standard correctly? Know the melody and know the changes. Not the substitute chords. Find a 1925 record that has those songs played by the guys who wrote them and find out how the melody is supposed to work with those really standard, uncomplicated changes. I think the jazz community, including me, have gotten so into finding substitute chords, we kind of missed the point. And I don't encourage missing the point. Let's see. Well, I don't know if I can say this out loud. That you are a legend and the most recorded bassist in history. Thanks for doing the interview for your history of CTI Records. Oh, Mark. Yes, you came by my house. We had a nice time. Thank you. I sent you some records signed that you asked me to, and I hope that they got you in plenty of time, that they weren't destroyed by the U.S. mail. M-A-I-L. Mail. Okay. I think I have time for maybe 3 more questions. Have I ever played with Bill Frisell? Bill's coming to my house for dinner. Maybe we'll fix that if I haven't. I did several records with Bill and Paul Motion, Bill and Joy Barron. I mean, Bill's one of my favorite musicians, my favorite people. He was a very fine cartoonist, I call him. I'll see him on February 4th for dinner, Bill. Don't be late. 1 o'clock. We eat on time at my house. I have time for 1 more question, I think. Okay, 2. Let's see. Let's see. You're writing too fast here. Mr. Mafatriori, how important is transcribing for you? Well, I'm not a fan of transcribing. Transcribing a line means that someone has decided that this line in the book is a perfect way to play this particular 12-bar blues. Well, my view of that line is a product of a perfect storm. The drummer played the right drum sounds, the pianist played the right chord voicings, the soloist didn't play too much for that particular chorus. You got a great recorded sound, and I'm not sure that sample is a good way to learn how to play bass lines. I'm sure that next week when I do this kind of talk back, someone will have 8 reasons why I'm wrong. Well, okay, send me 7 instead. I don't need to have 8. You talk me into that 8. This is my first time doing this process here. And those of you who have time to drop a note to my page and give me their commentary, hopefully it's positive. And if not, I still practice. I'll get it better next time around. And I look forward to doing this event again with you. Thanks for being my fans and my friends. Thanks. Bye.